Hi, my name is Steven Franzik, and this is my presentation for marketing. The first thing I want to do is just play a short video for you guys, just breaking down my job of choice, which is investment banking.
The clock, and let's get straight to it. Investment banking, otherwise known as corporate finance, is basically the part of an investment bank that advises companies and governments on how to raise money, how to merge or take over companies, and how to restructure their business in order to be most effective and efficient. There are 5 key areas within the investment banking division. There are mergers and acquisitions, equity capital markets, debt capital markets, restructuring, and leveraged finance. The M&A business is where bankers advise companies on mergers and acquisitions. A merger is when 2 companies come together, and an acquisition is when a bigger company takes over a smaller company. Next, you've got ECM and DCM, equity capital markets and debt capital markets. Whilst M&A focuses on advising businesses on mergers and acquisitions, ECM and DCM focuses on advising companies and businesses and governments on raising capital, so raising money. ECM focuses on raising money through equity, and DCM focuses on raising money through debt. For example, Facebook wanted to raise money through equity, and so an investment bank made it possible for you and I, the public, to buy shares in Facebook. What that means is we get a piece of Facebook, so a piece of equity, in exchange for cash that we give to Facebook. So Facebook gets money, in exchange it gives part of its company away. That's raising money through equity. On the flip side, you've got debt capital markets, so raising money through debt. Think of a mortgage. You're taking a loan and the bank makes money from your interest payments. This is the same in debt capital markets, except the clients aren't humans like me and you. They are massive corporations where the interest payments are in the millions. Then we've got leveraged finance. This is kind of like DCM, debt capital markets, but more riskier. When you think of debt capital markets, you're thinking about safe loans, government bonds. But when you're thinking about leveraged finance, it's basically raising capital with debt, but risky debt. Lastly, we've got restructuring. This is where bankers scrutinize and analyze the structure of a business. So they look at the debt to equity ratio. How much debt does the business have? How much equity does the business have? Is it structured in the most efficient way in order for that business to run in the best interest of shareholders, so on and so forth. So bankers in the restructuring team look at all this and they try and construct.
So after doing some research on investment banking, I made a list of potential employers that I could be looking at in the future, just get a gauge of the job market. And just going to read those off to you guys right now. As you can see on screen, it's going to be JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo, and Lazard. And a cool thing about investment banking is that a lot of it happens in big cities. So I'm looking to work in a place maybe like New York. We have Chicago, San Francisco, London, and Dubai. And so I think it would just be really interesting to move out to one of those big cities and just see what's going on over there. So probably the single best thing about investment banking that really attracted me to the position would be the pay and the benefits. So coming straight out of college, you'd be considered an analyst, and they make between 85,000 and 100,000, and they also get a bonus depending on how well the company does itself, and that's between $50,000 and $100,000. So right out of college, you're looking at 130,000 to 200,000, which is just great. Also, if you want to move up after maybe about 5 to 10 years experience, your base pay is going to be bumped up to 100K, and at the high end 120,000 plus $80,000 bonus to $130,000. So you're looking at a pretty nice payday. Also, another big benefit that attracted me to the position would be the travel. You're doing a lot of meetings in different places, meeting with different clients, so you get to travel around the U.S. a lot, and even outside the U.S. at sometimes. And it does really give you the opportunity to move to a big city like New York, Chicago, LA, San Francisco that I talked about in the last slide. And I think it'd just be really cool to go to one of those cities and see what they're about. All right, so moving on to myself and my work experience. My first major job was Target, and I started working there at the start of 2020 and ended in December of 2020, so it was about a year there. So the main thing I learned from them was about customer service, and also they were pretty big on teamwork there, so I'd say that definitely helped my team skills and being part of a team. But yeah, the main thing we did was just assist customers and just helping complete the sale. So yeah, I was on cashier a lot, just helping them, making sure everything goes smoothly, and walking up and down the aisles to make sure everybody's taken care of. And then you got to make sure the store closes on time and everybody gets out safely. As well as I did some self-checkout, just looking over that, making sure everything's all right, and then assigning breaks for coworkers and just making sure we have enough people on the floor. The last thing was probably organizing drive-up orders and just making sure they get out on time. So yeah, overall, I think Target was a good job. It's definitely a good job in college to have just to get some experience of being part of a team. All right, moving on to my next job, and that's the one I'm actually at right now, and that is HR Block. Now, I do really like this job just because it lets me work in the finance field, and I feel like that's a really good experience for investment banking, and that's what I want to go into. So yeah, so mainly with H&R Block right now, I'm just at the front desk organizing files, doing the phones, setting appointments. But I'm actually taking the training to become a tax pro next year, and they already offered me the job, so I'm definitely strongly considering getting certified in that. So then, yeah, some of the day-to-day stuff is you just have to, help out clients, make sure they're all set, and just like study the tax laws, make sure you're up to date with everything. But yeah, I feel like it does really help with your customer service skills. Again, just building strong relationships with the clients just to ensure that the best service is given. And it's also always good just to deal with money on a daily basis if you're going into finance. All right, so now moving on to this slide, I'm just going to talk about some of the skills I have. Strong time management from balancing school and work, and then I was running cross country and track here at P&W, so I feel like it's going to translate nicely into investment banking where you have a lot of deadlines and meetings to get to. Also, I'm pretty good at Excel and PowerPoint and the Google applications, and that's stuff they use all the time. So that's going to translate nicely as well. Great customer service, that's always good to have, and there's really nothing else I need to say about that. And then also the ability to work or lead a team. So when I was in high school, I was the captain of the cross country and track team, so I do have a little bit of experience leading people and accomplishing goals like that. And then also understanding finances is something I picked up from H&R Block, as well as the courses I'm taking right now at Purdue. And then you could see this little graph on the left. It says school-based learning, extended learning, and work-based learning. And I feel like I've learned things from all three sectors. So onto this slide right now. And you can see on the right, I made a little graphic in Adobe, just kind of resume-like thing, just kind of displaying the skills and some work experience that I could hand out to people maybe at job fairs, stuff like that. Anyways, I did write up a professional summary just to kind of sum up my work experience and what I'm about. And that states, Purdue Northwest student of business, pursuing a degree in finance, student athlete for 2 seasons, with 3 years of retail and customer service experience, interested in banking and asset management positions, have experience leading groups and individuals in and out of the work environment. That kind of just sums that up. On to my second to last slide here, and I'm just going to talk about some of the job demands of investment banking and some of the skills that I might need to succeed in the industry. Strong time management is a big one, as work weeks can get up to as much as 100 hours at the most, which is crazy, but as you saw earlier, the compensation is pretty good as well, so I think it balances out nicely. Customer service is a must just because you're going to be brokering deals between companies and meeting with a lot of different people, so it's definitely a big one to have. And then working as a team to meet presentations and deadlines, definitely required, definitely a good skill to have. And then high job demands mean you're going to have a high drive and really high motivation to succeed, which I think I do, and that's never really been a problem for me. And then we have a graphic on the left, and it's just kind of the market leaders in investment banking. As you can see, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, some of the guys I talked about earlier in the presentation are just some of the main investment bank companies. All right, so to conclude my presentation here, I think that my skills do match up pretty well with what investment bankers are looking for, and I think I could do pretty well in an entry-level job there. And I think my other job at H&R Block, just because that's in the finance field, could give me a leg up on the competition when I go to market myself for one of these jobs. And I think it would definitely be a good fit for both sides, just because I said my skills do match up pretty well with what they're looking for, and I think it would be a good fit for both me and their employer.